The 2024 NRLW regular season kicks off next week, and whether you're a new fan or a returning one, I've picked out a couple of key questions or players for each club heading into the new year. Last season's premiers, the Newcastle Knights, return with pretty much the same squad as the one that took out the grand final last year, just missing winger Jasmine Strange, and they profiled pretty well to do all the same things again this time around. Tamika Upton and Jessie Southwell, fullback and halfback, will demand all the headlines, but I'm really excited to see what Georgia Roach can do in her second year in the NRLW. She had some really nice involvements last year for the Knights on that left edge, playing a second fiddle role to Jessie in the halves, but she's got a really good knack of identifying and engaging the right defenders in the line, plays with really good tempo, holding the ball out in front to engage specific defenders and pass her back rower or Tamika Upton out there into space on the edges. If she can kick on like it looks like she could, Georgia can be the key difference and a real deciding factor in Newcastle's push for a three-peat. The Titans are also really well placed to run back into a grand final after falling just short to the Knights last year. Defence wins premierships is a phrase we're all familiar with, and that's certainly how the Gold Coast played last year, largely thanks to the work of their middle forwards. Jessica Elliston and Shannon Marto are the two best starting front rowers in the women's game, and Georgia Hale missed about one tackle in her life playing at lock forward for the Titans there. Their ability to roll downfield, they've all got pass options in them as they work around the ruck in yardage. Created so many attacking opportunities for the Titans, who weren't the most prolific attacking team in the comp, but there's plenty of upside there with names like Ivania Polite and Jamie Chapman in the back line, who probably weren't used to full effect last year. So very ominous signs for the Titans. They're well placed to have another crack at a grand final this season. The Chooks were dealt a very cruel blow just recently with fullback Corwin Baxter ruled out for the season. Remains to be seen what that does to their attack. She's one of the most experienced fullbacks in the game, a good passer and a ball runner at the back of shape. So I'm expecting we'll see Easts adjust on the run and play a lot through Taryn Aitken at 5'8". But Olivia Koenig's another name that springs to mind after a dominant Women's State of Origin series just a couple of months ago. She played at lock forward in that one, had some really nice passing involvements, tipping forwards into spaces through the middle. We should have seen it coming. She averaged almost an assist per game last year playing on the right edge. Genuine ball playing forward. I'm expecting the Roosters to use her a little more in their attacking shapes this year, especially with Baxter now sidelined. The Bronx, though, are my tip for the 24 NRLW Premiership. I really like the forward pack that they've assembled up there. A good mix of big bodies and really mobile defensive workers. They should lay the platform for Ali Brigginshaw at halfback to steer the ship, but it's their left edge, the Bronx, Gail Broughton at 5'8", Mele Hufanga in the centres, and Julia Robinson at left wing. It's probably the most dangerous left attacking edge in the NRLW. Mele scored a ridiculous amount of tries last year, but it's the variation that Gail is playing with at the 6, and her combination with Hayley Maddock playing fullback again this season, that'll be the difference for the Broncos. If Hayley can nail that passing role out the back of shape and either use the gravity of Mele to engage or attract defenders and create space for Julia, or just putting Hufanga into those spaces, the Broncos are going to be mighty hard to stop in good ball again this season. The West's Tigers struggled in attack last year, but performed really well in yardage. Finished top 3 for total running metres, thanks to the involvement of girls like Sarah Togatuki, Kezi Apps, Nevada George, and Christian Pio. Really dominant through the middle and should all do so again this season. The difference this time around for the Tigers, hopefully, will be a healthy Losana Lutu. She's a young playmaker who hasn't seen a lot of game time because of injury, but if she only needs to spend a few weeks on the field this year to quickly become one of the best ball players in the competition. I haven't seen a female half play with the tempo and the time that Lutu has on the ball. She did some very good things in limited game time last year, and she can immediately improve this Tigers attack. I think they're a smoky to feature in the finals this season. As for Cronulla, many of the questions we had for them this time last year really still applies. We didn't see a whole lot of Taylor Preston at halfback, Emma Tonagato at 6, and young Jada Taylor at fullback. That trio there still working out their combination. Some injuries disrupted that combo last year, but really good signs, particularly with young Jada Taylor as a ball runner and a genuine passer at the back of shape. Tonegado probably still adjusting to the 5'8 position, and Taylor Preston with one of the best kicking games in the comp at 7. On paper, it's a perfect fit. It's just a matter of getting all those pieces working together for Cronulla this season. It's a bit of a different story for the Cowboys, whose spine was fairly unsettled heading into the 2023 regular season, but at least 3 of those positions look all but locked in heading into this year. Emma Manzelmann, one of the best up-and-coming dummy halves in the women's game. She'll start at 9, and Kira Dibb in the halves is one of the most experienced playmakers in the comp. Tallulah Tillett had some really nice involvements at 6, partnering Kira last year. Some lovely vision and ball playing out on the edges. And then Fran Goldthorpe, a UK import who took her time to find her feet last year, did a lot of little things right without producing highlight reel moments. The Cows have some other options in that fullback position as well this season, but providing they can, play that familiar spine for most of the year, I think we'll see them immediately improve on what was one of the worst attacking teams in the competition last year. As for the Dragons, it looks like Jamie Soward's going all in on the Racine, McGregor, Tegan Berry combination, which it's hard to fault that tactic. Ray's one of the best 7s in the game, has been for a long, long time. A very clever playmaker, triple threat with a run, pass and kick option. And Tegan Berry's already setting try-scoring records, 22 years age. She reminds me a lot of Tom Trbojevich if you really want to make men's game comparisons. The squad around those two becomes a question for the Dragons this year. A lot of young talent, very raw, a lot of potential there. But are they going to be able to handle the week-to-week grind of first grade? Yeah, there's a lot to like about this Dragons roster, plenty of attacking upside, but there's still a lot of unknowns about a few positions, particularly through the forward pack. The Eels showed some very encouraging signs after a wooden spoon finish last year, playing in a trial last weekend. Cassie Tohi-Hiku, who was one of their breakout stars from last season, playing in the centres or on the wing. She had her first crack at 5'8", and this one it looked really good. Some nice running involvements. Probably still got some work to do on her passing game, but you put her outside a genuine number 7 in Rachel Pearson, and Abby Church playing a very Clint Gutherson-like role. Very busy and consistent player at fullback there for the Eels. They've got the bones of a genuine squad there. Missed a lot of key players through injury last year, but girls like Kennedy Cherrington and Elsie Albert in the forward pack, and then the names I mentioned in the spine there through Pearson, Tohi-Hiku and Church. There's some positive signs there and reason to believe that Parramatta will improve on that last place finish of 23. It's a little difficult to get a read on the Raiders and the squad they've assembled down at Canberra this season. There's a lot of potential and raw talent, a bit like the Dragons, really. Names like Shale Robbins-Reddy and Mackenzie Wickie, Mona Lisa Soliola in the back row. A lot of names who were dominant through the junior grades or produced moments of brilliance last year, but we're yet to really see them produce week in and week out. There's plenty of strike, and this passage here shows it. The best Raiders attack can play coast to coast. Genuine ball players in Zahara Temera and Ash Quinlan in the halves, and then Appy Nichols so quick across the ground from fullback. When they get it right, they're going to be very hard to beat, but the challenge is going to be to shore up through the middle. They've got Samaima Taufa, who's an absolute warhorse at lock, but some very young and inexperienced forwards around her. So the challenge for the Raiders this year, at least from the outside looking in before a ball's kicked, is going to be how they perform in the grind through the middle of the field and in defence. In case you couldn't tell, I'm fizzing for the women's game to kick off again in 24. It's been a great watch seeing the game grow exponentially over the last few seasons, and really looking forward to what looks like what might be the closest women's competition yet. Follow along, RugbyLeagueWriters.com, and here on YouTube, going to be producing regular NRLW content throughout the year, including some try scorer analysis, which we had some fun with last season. Cheers.